Bible Talk Wednesday.
How did you watch Star Wars The Clone Wars?
This is Bible Talk. With your host, Leader, the only one.
Your first loser.
I am closer to be better, to be the best, okay? So cut me some slack.
John's Fumbly.
This is Boba Fett. Attack mode?
Yep, I see that.
Attack mode?
Yep,
Attack mode?
yep.
I'm in attack mode right now.
Adrian A.I. Indelos.
I'm a man. I fix things. Cook barbecue and fix things.
This is Bible Talk.
Well, everybody. Welcome. Can you hear that? Or no? Is it just me?
So someone really likes the opening intro.
I know.
It's not me.
Not me
One of you's got
either.
a stream open on the phone, I bet.
Yeah, not me. My phone is not it.
Not it.
But it sounded really close.
My phone is really cute.
Wait.
It is quite cute. Look at that hunk.
Are we getting an
Oh,
echo?
I know what it is. It's my headphones.
Wow.
Is that loud?
That's insane.
That is actually insane. That's really
Now-
loud.
Now I'm worried about your hearing, leader.
Sure.
If you're playing at that level decibel in your earphones, I'm really worried about you.
No, listen. This headphones that I got on now are in-ear monitors, right? And I can't hear anything, bro. These things go deep into your ear. They're
Oh
insane.
no, I understand. I understand that. I'm worried when you put on the other set of headphones that you're just blasting your eardrums into oblivion.
It'll be okay. We got everything under control. It's okay.
Okay.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. Sorry about that. And my fault. My bad. My name is literally the only one. I'm your host with the most. I'm back another week with my guys. In the middle, right here, my duo, the one and only, John's Fumbly. How are you doing, baby?
The one and only. I'm doing
The one
great.
and only.
Doing
Welcome.
wonderful.
Welcome. The co-star of the show on the far end over there, Mr. Adrian Indolos. What's up, baby? What's up? How are you?
What's up? I am great.
Good, man.
Before we really get started, I just want to give a very special shout out
Okay.
to the Mrs. John Fumbly.
Oh, yeah, Mrs.
Shout
LaHart.
Shout out to Lauren, right,
Uh-huh.
at LaHart. It is her birthday, right?
Mhm.
Happiest of happy birthdays to Lauren. Now she's finally 18. John is, able to,
It's true.
publicly, admit that he's married. now,
Yep.
and it's not pedophilia. So we're very excited for the happy couple.
Yeah,
Happy.
it's been a long time in the making. I've actually known her since she was 13.
Oh,
And
Oh,
so this has been
yikes.
a very
Okay.
long, I mean,
Yeah,
what's that
5
called? I
years.
forget what that's called. That terrible thing. Oh my God.
guys, I'm so sorry.
It's
There's
what's
nothing
that
wrong
thing?
going on here.
It's
These
I'm
two
trying to remember
guys
what
are
it's
just
called.
fools.
It's
Um, I'm pretty
Either
sure it's
way,
like
it's a terrible
like
thing.
oh,
It's
it's
like
okay.
pedophilia, but like times 10.
Oh my god.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
You know.
John, happy birthday to you too, by the way.
Thanks, bro.
It's been what, like a few days too?
Well, I
Yeah.
bet that was
July 30th.
Last week,
I
right?
think we yeah, I think we would have celebrated last week, but
Yeah,
someone was enjoying
California.
the terrible sunshine and beaches of San Diego, California,
75 degrees, man. Unbelievable.
That's amazing.
and you didn't want to bring that
Unbelievable.
with you. Like
I
you
mean,
didn't want to
I,
bring
I
some of that
Nice.
back
Pretty
tried.
sure.
I
to
tried. I
Texas.
put it on my shoulders and it just didn't work. I
It's
don't know.
97 right now, and it's 9 o'clock at night. Like
It's unbelievable.
What? It's still that hot? It's like
yeah.
It's
probably 80
insane.
outside, I think. Right?
No, and
Maybe
here's
70.
insane.
Oh, but it's a dry heat.
Well, welcome everybody to Bible Talk. This is what we do. We get a little intro with the boys. Then we do good news because we live in a tough world where bad stuff is happening every day. So we'll go into that. It takes another 5 minutes, and then we jump into Bible Talk, which all that we do is we select a topic. We read a bunch of Bible verses about that topic. Then we talk about it. You guys in chat, howdy. We see a bunch of you guys. Welcome to the show. Say hi to this show. Um, Interact with us, ask questions. We love that from you guys. So feel free to do that as the show goes on. One thing that we don't do is we don't argue with you here. So if you have one of those tricky conversation starters that you want to do, by all means do that. But we may not answer your question. Having said that, feel free to join the Discord, right? The Discord is a place where we go to it after the show. Actually, we'll get together. We'll get to praying, and also we'll get to talk to one another. And if you want to have some face to face, feel free to do so. What's up with you guys doing this? Who's this? Is that you, Adrian?
I don't know
No.
who Facebook user is.
I don't know who Facebook user is either. But welcome, you Facebook user,
Declare
unknown,
yourself.
anonymous.
Might be Roche.
Okay, so let's start on Mortal Kombat. He'll take us on everything. Street Fighter, all of it.
And he's going to win.
And he's gonna win. How about tennis,
Button
bro?
pressing. I tell
Button
you,
pressing.
my ultimate move is pressing all 4 buttons at the same time.
That's impressive.
It's
That's a
spamming, bro.
skill.
Spamming. That's all I do. Right here.
Something will happen. Something
Right
will
here.
happen.
That's
Yeah.
it. Well, welcome everybody. Let's go through good news briefly because we're gonna jump into Bible talk. I'll start with mine. I'm pumped about this weekend. It's sectionals weekend. Big time for tennis. So we're gonna be out there in the heat playing a bunch of matches. I'm looking forward to hanging out with the team and hopefully make it to nationals. Big goals. We have a strong team. Everybody's healthy right now. Everybody's hydrating, preparing. I'm pumped. So sectionals coming. I'll tell you guys how it goes next week, God permitting. John, hit us with some quick good news so we can get started.
I could pick from a lot of things. It could be that my wife is pregnant. It could be that it was birthday. It could be that it was my birthday. But you know what it really is going to be? It's going to be that I have my own hat, baby.
Oh, wait,
Yes, sir.
wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta model it, of course.
Oh, he's got to do the hair flip.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Ladies,
I like
he
that
is
one.
taking. He
I like
is
that one.
taking. So
Oh, yeah.
just
Yes, sir.
FYI. Don't go crazy on him.
See,
Okay.
but see, this is the problem, John. This is the problem. Now I can't look at your beautiful hair.
What are you talking about? My
You know.
bald spots?
No, your beautiful, gorgeous, flowy
What are you talking about?
blonde,
You know what? You can't look at my
dirty
beautiful
blonde,
receding
strawberry
hairline
blonde
now?
hair.
Strawberry. It's strawberry blonde.
That's
Get it
strawberry
right,
blonde.
Adrian. She's
That widow's
understand.
peak just really, gets me going in the morning.
Travis, welcome to the show, buddy. We've missed you. Hey, fam. I'm sorry I've been away. If you need prayers about your family, send a message here on Discord. We love to pray for you and your family. That's your friendly reminder, fam. After the show, join the Discord.
Welcome
That's-
back, Travis.
That's where we're going to be. Travis is going to be there. He's our prayer warrior. There's a Discord link again. Feel free to join now, and then we'll see you guys after the show. Adrian, some good news so we can get the show on the road, baby.
Well, I guess my biggest good news is the fact that I was nominated for Best in Dallas Fort Worth this week. It was kind of a surprise. I had no idea. And they didn't even tell me. Like, I knew that the competition was coming because it happens every single year, but then I had no idea that I was even nominated this year. And so that was a very nice surprise, and just love and support from all you guys that have been like sharing that and have been voting for me. I really appreciate it. You can vote once a day, every day between now and August 26th.
Like sharing.
I've been. Oh, there you go. There's a little bit of feedback. Okay. Yeah. So you can just go to bestindfw.com, go find the little cast your vote, go under services, go under photography, and you can vote for me, just Adrian Indelos Photography. And it's just an honor to even be nominated, especially with how many talented photographers there are in this very big city. And so like to even be like in the ballot, it's just quite an honor. So thank you guys for nominating me, and thank you everyone that's been voting for me. So really appreciate you guys.
Beautiful, you guys. There you guys have it. Mr. Adrian doing his thing with the photography, media, videography, all this stuff. Well deserved, but I hope you win. I'll be voting. Remind us to vote at the end too. I want to vote right after this. So for sure, for sure. What did you say, Travis? I got some good news for y'all tonight on Discord. Let's go. Can't wait to hear all about it, Travis. Okay, guys, so let's get into the show. Welcome everybody. Let's do the quick intro because this eventually, hopefully, will be in Spotify, iTunes, CloudShare, whatever other places where a podcast goes in. So here you go.
CDs, record stores.
Welcome everybody. This is Bible Talk Season 2, episode number 28. We're in our spiritual warfare series. This is part 4 of it. This is your host, Leader the Only One, at Leader the Only One, everywhere: Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, so on, TikTok, and so on and so forth. Welcome everybody. My duo, the one and only John Spumley.
Hello.
John, socials.
Oh, it's me, John Spumley, your favorite John.
Perfect.
I hope.
The co-star of the show, Adrian Indelos.
What's up, guys? It's Adrian Indelos, leader of Team Adrian here on the show. You guys can find me on the socials at Adrian_I. That's ADREAN_I. I'm on the Gram. I'm on the TikTok, and I guess you can find me on Twitter. You can find some tweets that I posted way back in like 2016, because that's the last time I actually tweeted anything. But you can find me on there. And you can also, if you want to privately chat with me, I have a public text line at 214-865-8348. Whether you have prayer requests or you have some questions that you may be too shy to post publicly on the show, you can reach out to us either on the Discord or you can reach out to me privately. Again, it's a I say privately, but it's a public text line, 214-865-8348.
Bada bing,
Back
bada
to
boom.
you, leader.
Welcome everybody to the show. I'm excited to be here back in a week. We are gonna wrap our series on spiritual warfare. Real quick, let's go back over what we've gone through. So putting on my handy notes. A few things we talk about on episode 1, understanding what our enemies is, right, spiritually. Because there's the flesh enemies, right, that we actually fight, like Russia and Ukraine are fighting right now physically. And then there's the battles that we fight that we can't really see. So we fight the devil, we fight demons, we fight bad spirits. And so we went through that on episode number 1. Pretty interesting episode. On episode number 2, it was pretty interesting to see how obedience, diligence, and God's will and persistence through him gives us what we need to fight. We went through how battles actually have weapons, how God helps us win those battles, and so on and so forth. Episode 3, my favorite one so far, we went through the armor of God, right? Ephesians chapter 6. That was super cool. We dissected a little bit. Adrian reminded me that we had studied this before about a year ago, and that was really cool. So that was awesome to revisit, but now with the spiritual warfare kind of sense. So today I want to wrap up the series. This is part 4, so feel free to go back on the YouTubes at Leader the Only One if you want to see the other episodes and kind of catch up if you haven't been here. But if you have, welcome. And so we're going to get into it. Let me share with you guys eSword. eSword is the app that we use for Bible Talk. The reason why we use it And me specifically, personally, the reason why I use it is because I love the fact that I can read on the versions that are easier for me to read. ISV for me does it. Everybody's different, but I got the basic English right here, the American Standard Version. But most importantly, we also have access to the King James Version with the Strong's Dictionary, which allows us to read in the original language. That's really important because some of the words here in English kind of suck. There's not a lot of vocabulary versus what they had back in the day, and the translations are not perfect. So this is a really good way to try to understand some of them tricky Bible verses. So, having said that, John, are we ready to read, bro?
I'm always ready.
Let's get it, bro. First John, actually. Look at that, John. First John, chapter 5, verses 4 and 5.
Verses 4 and 5.
Actually,
the real
read from
best
verse
chapter.
1. Read from verse 1.
From verse 1?
Yeah, until 5.
All right. Everyone who believes that Jesus is the Christ has been born of God, and everyone who loves the Father loves whoever has been born of him. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and obey his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. For everyone who has been born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. Who is it that overcomes the world except the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God?
So let's dissect this a little bit. This is really important understanding this because I think there's this general idea, right? The prosperity preachers nowadays, right, that tend to believe or tend to preach that God allows us to live a very comfortable life, a life where we're gonna have some kind of money, maybe even be rich, and kind of have no problems, right? And I think that's so flawed. Um, First off, let's talk a little bit about number one, who is this directed to, right? Because this is really important. Understanding who this is for. Adrian, can you tell us who is Paul or this is for John? So John directing this to? Who is the target audience from these 5 verses?
Um, I don't know for sure, so I don't want to give a wrong answer, but I want to say it's for the non-believers.
The non-believers, right? And what
Yeah.
are the and what is the exception to the rule, right? What is it needed for you to qualify to overcome the world?
That all you have to do is believe in Jesus as the Messiah.
Very good. Have faith, right? And faith is that victory. So let's talk about that. John, question for you, buddy.
Yo,
Do you feel like as a Christian we're fighting battles constantly? Do you lose them? Do you win them? I mean,
yeah, we're always. I mean, whether I feel like I'm fighting a battle or not doesn't really matter, right? Because I am. Right?
yeah.
It doesn't matter, even if I
How
don't
so?
know.
How so? How so? How so?
I mean, everybody has their own battles with sin, with people, other people's sin, with spirits,
Temptation.
demons. Yeah, temptation. I mean, that's a part of sin, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you're always fighting. The only real way to fight back is with the armor of God. So, but yeah, you're always fighting, even if you're not aware of it, even if you don't think you are. So,
Okay. How about winning versus losing? Do you got it all? Do you lose some, win some?
yeah, of course. There's no one on this planet that is in a sinful body that doesn't lose fights with their flesh or with sin or sinful people.
So does that mean that by us losing battles here, are we condemned? Are we lost, or how does that work?
Yeah, 100%. So Jesus said that we only get saved once, and that's it. If you sin again, it's over, right?
Mhm.
So, that's just the way. I'm just kidding. It's not true. No, I mean, if we didn't have God's gift of forgiveness, then yes, that would be the case. We would be committed to hell, and there's no way we'd be able to get out of it. You can try, because technically Christianity is a religion of works, right? But the fact is that there's no way that you, in the amount of time that you have, will ever be able to work off the debt that you've paid, because you're incurring debt quicker than you can pay it off,
Yeah.
right? So God did all the work so that we can be saved. right?
Mm.
So if you don't have that though, then there's no way to be saved from your temptations, from sin, from anything else really.
Okay. Question for you, Adrian. What's the difference between, speaking of spiritual warfare, between winning a battle or winning the war? Because it's clearly said right here, right? It's a
Yeah, well, I
war.
mean, it's just like any war, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual, or it can be like physical, like in the flesh, right? War is a long, drawn out process. It's not decided in one battle. Maybe some wars have in the past, but for something like this, for especially for something as precious as our souls, it's not something that can be decided over one person or even like a group of people. It's like the spiritual war that's going on is for the entirety of the human race, right?
Mm-hmm.
For all of God's children. And so, well, uh, do we lose some battles? Absolutely, right? And usually, based on the book, usually the battles that we lose are when we try to, fight them on our own, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
to put into a gamer perspective, right? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you just charge out in front without waiting for your team, or you decide to turn off your mic and just decide to go head first, that sort of thing. And so you think you're powerful enough to do it on your own, and next thing you know, you're surrounded by enemies, and you don't have any access to any I don't know, and any drop ships or any drone strikes or anything like that, and so you're kind of left out on an island, and then next thing you know, you're in the gulag, right? So
Oof.
um, yeah, right. So so do we lose battles? Absolutely, but usually that's due to our own, you know, ignorance and pride and
Choices.
rambunctiousness. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but to go back to your question, right? So like
Yeah.
there's individual battles. We win some, we lose some, right? But God is fighting for all of his children throughout all time, right? And so he's looking at the bigger picture. He's already he's won the war, right? Because like Jesus has already come and saved us, and God is ready to receive us into his kingdom. But just because like especially like back in the olden days, I don't know if you guys knew this, but like, let's say like you take the American Revolution for example, like the war ended, right? Britain surrendered, and yet there were still battles existing even afterwards because people just didn't know. Like, oh, like, sure, maybe my general had relinquished his sword, but I still have pride as a commander, and I still want to keep going. And so like so the war has been won. Like Jesus already came and saved us, and we're ready to go to heaven whenever God calls us. But there's still battles to be fought here and now.
Absolutely. And you know what? Here's a very interesting thing. I don't think people going to war, right, knowing that they will win. I don't know. I don't think Russia went to Ukraine and was like, "Oh, I'm guaranteed 100%. I'm going to win this war." Germany against all Europe. Oh, I'm for sure I'm going to win this war, right? They go to war ready to fight. We have the advantage of knowing what the result of our battles are, or what the result of the war is. Unfortunately, I think our flesh is so strong in its desires that we tend to not focus on that, and we tend to focus on specific battles, and we feel like we're not victorious. Give you guys a few examples, right? A few years ago, actually 4 years ago, almost to the dot, my brother passed away, right? God took him home. And so you go through that really tough time where you're doubting God, where you're hesitating about your moves, where you don't even know God's will, and it's really easy to blame him. And so you feel defeated, you feel in a hole, and God here saying is, "Hey, listen, man, I've overcome the world. The victory is already ours." And it's so easy to forget. So I don't know, man. As a Christian, I think it's, for me, it's one of those things that I can't believe that we already know the cheat code, the end game. We know the final boss. We've read the credits, and I believe that I'm stuck on level 4, right? And I can't move past level 4. So it's a very interesting concept for me specifically, and it's a challenge as my Christian life evolves and grows. So I don't think I'm on the only one. Do you guys feel this way, or do you guys feel like you walk your life every day feeling that, oh, I'm victorious every day because my faith is so strong?
I mean, go ahead,
Sorry,
Don.
you go ahead, Adrian.
Look at this
uh,
gentleman.
I mean, for me, it's I know, like, if I stop and I honestly think and I contemplate and I meditate and I pray, like, I know that, like, I'm good, right? That I am taken care of, that the war is won.
Hmm.
But sometimes, if you, again, like, I'm just gonna keep going back to, like, World War One and Two, right? Sometimes when you're stuck in the trenches, right, and or if the enemy is, like, right in front of you, and that enemy is something like temptation, all forms of sin and stuff like that. Sometimes it seems like, oh, like you're still, like, in the heat of it, right?
Hmm.
But you don't, you're so, like, narrow minded, you're so focused on directly what's in front of you, that you don't see the bigger picture, which is, like it's like the war is won, and that everything is actually fine. And so that's kind of how I feel. Like, sometimes I let stress, anxiety, and narrow mindedness just cloud, or I let narrow mindedness cloud my mind and my judgment, which then springs forth anxiety and depression, and things like that. And so those are my daily battles that I get caught up in.
I want to show you guys something. Give me 1 second. Let me, because I need to step out. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna show you guys something real cool.
We'll be back in a few
So
minutes after
we
these
should
messages.
do our own segment now, right?
Okay, coming back.
Yeah,
You're right.
this is the.
I can't hear you guys. So if you guys are bad mouthing me, don't.
No, we were gonna come
No,
up with an independent segment. We were gonna
Inde-
figure out what it was gonna be. It was
Oh,
gonna be me and Adrian doing something wacky.
that's something wacky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust you guys enough for that.
Shouldn't walk away from
and
the screen.
that fans is
What it
why.
is.
The comedy hour.
Okay, so we're gonna do an exercise real quick because this is fascinating to me, right?
I don't like cardio.
Okay, so what do you guys see?
A piece of
I
paper,
see
fingers,
a sticky note.
a wall, a hat, lights, a t-shirt.
Okay,
see
just
fingers.
focus right here. You guys
I
make
see
this so
LED
complicated.
lights.
Oh my god.
LED lights.
Ink.
It's so pretty.
Indentation on paper.
Okay, get serious. What do you see here?
A dot.
A dot. What do you see here, Agent?
A dot.
A dot. That's what you see. You know what's really interesting? This was a study that was made quite a few years before. Our minds tend to focus so much on one thing specific that catches our eyes that we tend to forget everything else. And my pastor one time gave me this example. This is how the spiritual warfare is. We focus on this problem that we have right here, but we don't focus on the whole victory that surrounds it. We don't focus on the mighty God that is completely in control of this paper. We don't forget it. We don't focus on the bigger picture. We just forget in the little thing. And that is true to our walk as Christians. We see the one thing that is there and we go, oh man, that thing is right there. And there's that, and it's bothering me, and it's making me feel stressful, and it's making me feel anxious, and it's making me feel like I'm falling into a hole. And that right there is how our flesh works. It's funny because you guys were joking around it a little bit, but the first thing that one of you guys said is, I see a post-it. That's a correct answer. This is a post-it. That happened to have a dot in it, but it's a post-it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know which one of you guys said it. We're joking
Adrian.
around. Adrian did. So that's the right answer, right? That's
Team Adrian, 500
Team
points.
Adrian. Hashtag Team Adrian.
He deserves it.
Now, it's easy to say it like this, but it's really hard to see it and say it whenever we're in the middle of problems. And there's COVID, and we have a family member in the hospital, and they just fired me or let me go because they couldn't pay me anymore. And I have car payments, and I have debt to pay, and this, that, and the other. So we see then kind of like this. This is what happens to our lives, right? We see like boom, 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 car payments, debts, right? Problems is what we do. Oh, focus camera, come on now. It ain't that hard. There you go.
The
Right?
focus is you. The focus is you, leader.
My hand, my focus, me. Oh, it's all about me, me, me. So this is what happens to our life. And then God is sitting out there and saying, bro, what are you doing? I won. We have victory over this world because of me. Just have faith, right? And this is exactly what the Bible verse says. Super simple. Verse 4, because everyone who's born from God has overcome the world. By the way, being born from God doesn't mean that everybody's born from God. You choose to be born from God. That's John chapter 1, right? We all creations, but we're not sons and daughters until we choose to be sons and daughters. Our faith is a victory that overcomes the world. So who overcomes the world is not the is it not the person who believes that Jesus is the Son of God? Yes, sir. So that's the answer for you guys. Okay, anything to add on here, yes? Or can we move on? Got a couple more Bible verses to go through.
We could probably talk about this
Good.
forever, so that's not a
I
good
know
question.
it's a good topic to talk about, right?
Yeah.
I love this. But yeah, let's move on because otherwise we'll be here forever.
Oh.
Isaiah, John, let's go to Isaiah, please.
Isaiah.
Chapter 54,
54.
verse 17.
17. A little bait and
Mhm.
switch. 17. No weapon that is fashioned against you shall succeed, and you
Mhm.
shall refute every tongue that rises against you in judgment. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication from me, declares the Lord.
That's pretty amazing, right? Listen, that's the other thing, right? Understanding that the devil tries in several ways to come at us doesn't guarantee him the victory. On the contrary, being with the Lord guarantees that none of the stuff that is coming at you in whichever shape or form is going to defeat you, right? Because we are righteous to him. Which, by the way, I've never felt righteous, and I think that's a question that I would like to ask to both of you guys. Do you ever feel righteous? But that's what we are in the eyes of God, right? Because we have been forgiven, we are being sanctified, right? And we're supposed to be righteous in the eyes of God. I don't feel like that at all. I feel like I'm a sinful person. I sin every day. But this is the truth. Isaiah explains it really well. Nothing can come at you that can defeat you anymore because God has won the war. So let's talk a little bit about that. First off, Adrian, do you feel like you're righteous by chance, or do you are in the same boat as me?
Uh, I'm gonna say generally speaking, no. I feel like the only time I'm ever, truly righteous is when I'm just reading the word,
Mm-hmm.
to someone, or just kind of explaining it exactly how it is, not my word, but God's word, and I'm just kind of like reading it, and like I don't even think I'm righteous when I'm trying to explain it. I'm just like I'm just giving my best human response, to this text. But the only time I ever feel righteous is literally when I'm just reading the Bible.
Okay. How about you, John?
Um, I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately. So, which is it's weird that it comes up, but like for those who don't know, I guess this should be my terrible non-theological definition of what righteousness is. Right? There's like God, who is right all the time and exists in rightness, and if you have a desire to be right and exist in that righteousness, then you strive towards that righteousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel like you're righteous, you're not righteous, because to feel righteous is to misunderstand how sinful you truly are and
Mm-hmm.
how you truly fall short, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, to strive for righteousness is to strive after God's own heart. So I would say you can't do it on your own. It's striving after God's wisdom in a way, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to ask God to do it, and He will enable you to do it. And there's nothing in you that's doing it, so you can't ever feel um, complete in righteousness because you're not until you go to heaven.
Mm. Mm. So I'm curious now because you use the word feel. How about being righteous? Is there a difference?
your feelings are tainted by your heart. If you feel something, it doesn't matter
Got
because
it.
you're sinful. So it doesn't matter what that feeling
Wait,
is.
but can my okay. Okay, so you're saying that I could feel a certain way even though it's not true. So my feelings can betray me.
Yeah. Your
Okay,
feelings are
gotcha.
subjective to your environment.
Of
So if
course.
you feel good, right, committing a sin,
Yeah.
that's your body indulging in sin, right?
Yeah.
It's not good, it's not right, it's not righteous, but you
Mhm.
feel good, right? So that's you can't trust your feelings. Your feelings are tainted by circumstances.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, glad that I asked. Okay, so how about the second part of it where it says, no weapon that is forged against you will be effective? I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I've never thought about this statement before. Like I don't spend time thinking, it's like, oh, I don't know what's gonna come at me, in what kind of way, in what kind of shape or form, right? I don't really think about this. I believe in the Old Testament is a big deal, right? Because civilizations were evolving, and some of them faster than the others. And some had access to actual physical weapons that were way more powerful than others, right? So I think it was a really good back then. But today, in the world that we live, is different shapes and forms. I really am guilty of not thinking what those ways are. Do you guys do? Like, are you conscious of the ways that the devil can get to you? Maybe I'll ask this to you, Adrian. Are you conscious of the ways that Satan can get to you and try to destroy the life that God has given you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I think that's what makes him
Because
really good, right?
he's
Probably.
sneaky.
Yeah.
He's sneaky, sneaky, sneaky.
Yeah. Okay. You, John, are you conscious about it or also don't think about it much?
Um, I I am aware of it. To say that I know all of the different ways that he'll try to attack you, I can't. I don't know all the different ways, right? So I would have to be him to know his strategies, right? And I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But that being said, when he has attacked me and when he's attacked other people that I love, right? And so this is the beauty of church, right? If you and me are going to church, leader, and you're like, hey man, Satan's really been tempting me with this, and this is how it's been doing, and this is the triggers, blah blah blah, right? Even
Mm-hmm.
if I don't experience it that way, now I know that Satan's going to attack me in that way, and he can attack me in that way, right? And so church community enables us to figure out how Satan will go about tempting us or attacking us or using others to attack us or whatever else, right? Um, so, yeah, I don't know if that answers the question,
It
but
does. I mean, you know what? I was thinking as you guys were saying this, it's interesting because, okay, I'm going to put you guys an example. I'll do two examples, a tennis example and a game example. And at tennis, when I warm up,
mm-hmm,
I found I was like, okay, my opponent's guys, man, this guy's forehand is insane. And
mm,
this other guy's serve is like kicky and it moves a lot.
mm-hmm,
So let's make sure we counter that. So I am aware of what they do well so I can counter it. In gaming, John, you know, who should I pick? Yasha or Vigard? You just asked this 30 minutes ago.
mm-hmm.
Going into, I can't remember what you were going into, right? But it's a pick
Action.
because action. But that's a good pick. It's a favorable pick for you because you know what action can do, how he can
Mm-hmm,
carry, so on and so forth. It's interesting. I personally don't do it out of my spiritual life, and I think we probably should. Might be a good idea. Not that it says that we should, but I think it's good to probably put some thought process. Maybe you win more battles that way too. Additionally, matter of fact, I mean that's a helmet, right, of salvation,
mm-hmm.
protecting your head in a certain way, right? And so I don't know. Interesting. Okay, cool. Anything else that to add from here? No. Going once, going twice. Sold. Revelations, John, last book of the Bible.
While I searched for this fun fact, what you just did is an auctioneer thing. And my dad, so growing up, we ran and operated an auction house. My family did.
Uh huh.
And my dad was the auctioneer.
Okay.
So, yeah, we would do
Did
it
he
all
have
the
the
time.
You
voice?
Yeah,
always,
he did. He
yeah,
did
did you
everything.
like
He did
super
the. He did
fast?
the thing. Everything.
A
Yeah,
thousand,
it was awesome.
a thousand,
Yeah.
200,
Sold.
200.
And then he would do this classic thing where like he would like try to drive the price up, and you go, bro, it's only $1 more. It's only $1 more. Which classic Satan tactic, right? Like, hey,
Oh,
it's just one more, bro. It's just one more. Hey, this is the last one.
did you just
This is the
compare
last
your
one.
dad to Satan?
I was just about
Look,
to say that.
strategies are strategies.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
All right. So what am I looking for? 12
Revelation chapter 12, verse 7 through
verse
9 to
7.
close out spiritual warfare series. Great series.
Now war arose in heaven. Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. And the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him.
So you know what's interesting? We talk about World War One, World War Two, Russian war right now, kind of our spiritual warfare. This was the very first war in the history of history
Existence, yeah.
existence, like literally. So there's this guy, right, Lucifer, who happens to be the most beautiful angel, right, who believes that he can be God. He doesn't want to be like God. He wants to be God, right? And he, through lies, because he's the father of all lies and deception, convince a third of the angels to follow him and rebel and try to fight God. That's so stupid. Mind you, this is what we do as well. This is exactly what we do. Satan and us are no different. We believe that we can take over things by ourselves, which is so silly to think about because we can talk real bad about the devil. But what does that say about us, right? We're exactly the same. No difference at all.
By the way, fun fact: do
Yeah.
you know that saying or the numerology? This is kind of like a side tangent. We'll get back.
Yeah,
to
no
it.
problem. Go for it.
This is just a fun, interesting fact. So numerology, right? The fact that Lucifer took 1/3 of the angels, you know, that was very like strategic. That was a very like specific number
I didn't. Why?
because what is three in the Bible?
Number?
Like the
Yeah.
Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, like
Mhm.
3 parts.
It's a holy number. It means complete. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you take one of the three away, then it's no longer complete.
Complete. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Great
It's
input
just,
for
you know,
this.
just a fun little thing.
I
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
neat.
Great
Good
input.
fact. Fun fact.
Okay.
Fun fact.
Anyway, right? Very simple. He was not strong enough, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. You know what's very interesting? I wonder, I always go back and I wonder, do you think God tried to give him a second chance? Because this seems to have been a battle that lasted a little bit of time. It doesn't seem like it was instantaneous, I feel like. I feel like God in his mercy and his grace. I'm curious about this. I'm going to ask him when we get up there. Probably going to be totally irrelevant and probably forget. But it's one of the things that I thought before because the way that is written makes it sound like this was a minute, right? It doesn't sound like this was instant, right? It says then a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with a dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. I mean, that doesn't sound like God went and shabam and demolished them, right? Especially because actually, Michael was one of the main angels, like Gabriel, were actually doing some fighting, right? And then he said, but it was not strong enough. Then there was no longer a place for him in heaven. So I'm curious if is God is that gracious even up there with divine creatures to where he's like, I am not going to destroy them like he did with Sodom and Gomorrah or like he did with a great flood, right? But we'll give him a chance to redeem those souls and find out that fighting me is useless, but believing in me is eternity. So I wonder that. Do you guys feel this way? Or am I like high about this?
I have my own question. So
Okay,
I'll
what's
let
your
you guys-
question?
Okay, well, so think about this, right? So if
Mhm.
death is just separation from God,
Yeah.
right? Satan, as soon as he disobeyed God, he was separated from God,
Mm-hmm.
right? He was no longer one with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you wage a war where you're already dead? Because it's not the kind of warfare we wage,
Interesting.
right? So if I shoot you, you're going to die, right?
Interesting.
You're going to be separated from Earth, right?
Interesting.
So that's how we wage war. So how does God and how do angels wage war?
So, do you think that sin was already a concept before Adam and Eve?
Well, when God created existence, he created existence knowing that he was going to make us. So he had to create the basis of choice. And
Yeah.
to create the basis of choice, you have to create the opposition of Jesus
Right.
and
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it has to be a building block of existence.
Interesting. Hmm. Wow. Never thought of that either. Super interesting.
The only
Look,
thing that comes to mind to answer your question, John, when you have like two undead people fighting each other, is just like the scene from Pirates of the Caribbean.
mhm.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's it. That's the answer.
Yeah.
We've answered all of the questions. There are none to be answered anymore.
Johnny Depp, man, he's
No need for
amazing in
any
that.
more theology.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, the whole point why we decided to put this into this year's, you guys, is number one, to understand that there has been a massive war being fought already. But number two, there's a clear victory from
Mhm.
God's part against the probably, arguably, probably the hardest war anybody can ever fight. And so understand this, right? The whole point of this kind of to wrap this year's up, right? Number one is understand that who we're fighting for is the father of lies. We read that as a verse that we read on episode one. Understand that he's sneaky, like Adrian said. He is not gonna make it easy. And he's coming at your soul, not just at your flesh. He'll use your flesh, right? He'll get you sick. He'll touch people's health, right? He's been given permission. Job is an excellent example where he went to heaven and goes, listen, man, I want to destroy this guy. He's like, hey, God said do whatever you want to do to him, but do not kill him. Bro, he had stage 4 cancer, monkeypox, Spanish flu.
Boils.
Yeah, all of it at the same time. Job was, I mean, freaking on in a ICU unit for freaking forever. And then the devil kills his family, takes down his house on him, right? Kills his cattle, all of it. And so just know that it is no joke, right? That's the whole point of all this. I think we've moved into a world where he's done such a good job at hiding that we believe that he's no longer there, and that's pretty scary, right? Look at all the stuff that we're going through, you know, uh, the LGBTQ plus stuff. Look at the racism. Look at the police brutality, gun violence, poverty, who's expanding all across the world, right? And again, just to let you know, he's so good that we tend to focus on those things and not on God. And then, funny enough, people don't believe in God, but then when things happen like this, COVID, or someone dies, and go, hey, how did God let this happen? I was like, oh, funny. You don't believe in God this whole time. But then when something happens, now there's someone to blame that is not the devil, but God. That's so interesting. He's been so amazing at his, battle strategy. That is kind of sad for us, but it's a reality. So the whole point about this series, you guys, is number one, be aware of that. Number two, equip yourself, right? There's a way for you to be ready to fight him. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 through 18. Read it as many times as you need to. Study it, understand it. Faith, constant prayer, communion and community, people around you, prayer warriors. You got a bazillion tools to fight this battles and win them. And number three, and most importantly, understand that God has given us the victory to the war. We have already won because we've chosen to have faith and believe in Him, and that guarantees eternity for our soul. Live by that, believe in that, have confidence in that, and your daily walk will be much, much different than what it is now. Having said that, I am guilty of not doing any of this, okay? And I don't think these two gentlemen are also pure and perfect to not do that. So, welcome to the Christian life where we get to do this every single day. Thankfully, I got these two guys who are amazing to support me, and I support them. And I hope that you find people to support you. We are here to support you guys. You can join the Discord, you can text us. We have quite a few people now that constantly put prayer requests, and we love you guys for that. We're there for you guys. Find a good Christian based community that can love you and care for you and help you. Maybe put on that armor every day, right? Tighten up the belt for you. Make sure your helmet is nice and polished and ready to roll, right? Make sure your boots are not worn down. Make sure you're sharpening your sword to fight these battles, right? And so we're not alone. And so there's that. So those are my final thoughts for the series, you guys. Do you guys have any final thoughts, John? Good series, aye?
Oh, aye. Yes.
Aye.
Great. Yes.
So I was gonna say one thing that kind of resounded really strong in your heart from this series. It'll be nothing. Blank. There's nothing in his brain.
No, there's a lot. It's all jumbled in there. I don't know how to say it quickly.
Okay.
Life is difficult. Jesus knows life is difficult. God created us on the planet that Satan was imprisoned on, right? This is the place that he found refuge. God created us here and allows us to exist in difficulties so that we can be refined and purified and presented back to God better than we would have been without the difficulty. So,
big amen.
If you're a Christian, it's
We're
good.
good. We're good. Adrian, the one thing that hits you pretty good.
I guess for my final thoughts is, as the kids these days would say, stay woke, right? The spiritual warfare is a real thing. You can see glimpses of it. You can see it kind of like leaking into the physical world a little bit just by, looking at some of the issues that leader was kind of mentioning earlier, taking a look back at it and like take a step back, look at it with like a magnifying glass, and and think for yourself, like, does this even really make sense, or like where does this thought process comes from? And if it doesn't really make sense in your heart, in your conscious, then it's got to come from somewhere, right? And so the spiritual warfare is real, and it's ongoing, and like I said, it does leak into the physical world in a lot of different ways, and you do have to be conscious about it, and that's why faith, I think I said this before, like faith has to be intentional. It has to be something that you work on every minute of every hour of every day. Just be intentional in everything that you do, and then just as long as you trust in God and trust that He's got your back, then you have nothing to fear. So,
amen.
Just stay woke, my friends.
Be woke. Okay, everybody. Feel free to join the Discord. John is fervently typing to get us a reminder that is that time of the show where we go to Discord.
Dan broke something.
Yeah, you did. Join us on Discord, you guys. We're about to be over there to pray, have a good time, talk to one another. So more than welcome to join us, you guys. Discord is free and open for you guys to join.
And apparently Travis has some exciting news for us.
And we can't wait to hear about Travis. Travis, our prayer warrior, will be there, God permitting, if everything's okay and he's out in time. And guys, we love you guys tremendously. We can't wait to see you next Wednesday, God permitting. Until then, see y'all.
The Bible Talk Wednesday.
This is Bible Talk. With your host, Leader, the only one.
Your first loser.
I am closer to be better, to be the best, okay? So cut me some slack.
John Stumbly.
Boba Fett. Attack mode?
Yep, I see that.
Attack mode?
Yep.
Attack mode?
Yep.
I'm in attack mode right now.
Adrian A. Indalos.
I'm a man. I fix things. Cook barbecue and fix things.
This is Bible Talk.